I'm Chuck. I play Elias, the Satyr Bard, and I am still kind of upset that I was not the chosen one.
I'm Kylan, and I play Avrael Arkath, the Paladin Rogue. I guess I'm going to start poisoning people.
My name's Tim. I play the halfling Holt Argan, the druid, and I am now resistant to poison.
Ooh.
Let's see.
I am Larissa. I play Arlen Cadmus, the Genasi sorcerer. And she is still reeling from the discovery that her mentor, Miriam, has been alive this whole time.
I'm Jody, and I play Satra, the artificer gnome, and I've been going around on a mission to help some people with their dietary issues.
I'm Trevor, playing Jethro the Goliath Barbarian, and I can attack twice a turn now.
Ooh, that's right. You're level 5. And I am Mike the GM, and I'm the one who is kind of leading the charge on the Saga of Stonegate. Yes.
Real quick, I wanted to check on the monk chick
Yes.
and then the tavern wife and daughter and see about moving them up.
They're going to move into the cave with the Screaming Wyvern
Into the
people
cave.
because the Screaming Wyvern was kind of taking care of them. They were helping with the chow line that was feeding most of the villagers, and so they were going to move them up into the cave with the Screaming Wyvern. The cave was large enough you figured you could probably put 6 or 7 big families up there. I think the blacksmith was going to go up there, Art with his apprentices, the carpenter's family, who remember had lost Olma. I think that was pretty much it, besides the mayor and his friend the Hydronts, and then the Screaming Wyvern people. Pretty much anybody else wouldn't really fit it there.
I wanted to spend an hour crafting poison ammo as well.
Crafting, that would require what kind of tools and proficiency?
It says with 1 hour of work using a poisoner's kit. Ooh, do I have a poisoner's kit? Damn.
You may not.
I sure don't. I might need to go pick one of them up.
Yeah, I'm not sure where you'd find one.
Is there a place that has a poisoner's kit in here?
Probably the person who could probably make you one would be your little alchemist friend.
Okay.
I mean, she's the one who could probably make it for you, but she would have to spend some time working on it. I'm not sure how long it would take to.
What about her parents? So she doesn't have to spend time.
Well, they're bakers.
Oh, they're just bakers?
Yeah, they're bakers. She's really the alchemist.
We get the witch here, though.
Yes, she might be able to make you one
she
too.
might be
She gets
able to
glassware and stuff like that too. So you've got everyone squared away into the tunnels. Also, you've gotten the mayor, his friends, the carpenter, the blacksmith, and the people from the Screaming Wyvern into the cavern up on the cliff face. The Kenku at that point leaps off the round tower where he's been sitting for the last few hours, and when he leaps off, the wings on his back, a cloak on his back turns into wings and spread out, and he flies to the south. Now it's sunset. You can kind of see the sun dipping below the horizon, but it's still bright enough that you can actually tell what's going on. So, what's going on? What are we going to do?
Alright, I guess we go track down
that way
Miriam
on the
then.
map, right?
All right. You go looking for Miriam. Miriam is going to...
This map is
Yeah, well, that's south and that's north. I don't know if there's compass rose on it.
well,
There's one there, yeah. Okay, there you go.
Flip this
Yeah,
orient
yeah.
that. It's just that one.
So you're going to look for Miriam. When you get you start looking for her, roll me a d6
Snap over.
to find her quickly.
Everybody can see it. Nobody's not gonna
Just kind of a luck check.
Okay.
3.
Okay.
3, all right. You start looking around. It takes you maybe 15, 20 minutes, and you finally find Miriam inside the barracks, helping Arlen pack up all the stuff that she's got there, the herbs and things like that she had been drying and getting ready to go. And so they're packing stuff up into pouches. They're packing stuff up into boxes and crates because they're going to take most of that stuff up into the cavern. Yeah. So.
Oh, hey, Miriam! Can I have a moment of your time?
Yes. What can I do for you?
So, I've been looking at, maybe harvesting some of the young poisons and making, tinctures out of them, but I don't quite have the, glassware, as it were. Would you be able to help me out?
Well, she kind of narrows her eyes at you when you say something about poisons, kind of an unsavory type of thing to be dealing with, but she says, I might could. What exactly are you looking for? I have some older equipment. We probably would need to go get it from my hut, though. It's not going to be here in the actual castle.
There's no chance I brought it with me whenever I.
Probably not. You would recognize it as the stuff she doesn't use.
Gotcha.
It might have been buried under part of the roof that had collapsed and things like that. So yeah.
So, if you wouldn't mind, and I would pay you to replace whatever it is you've got. Or
Oh no, it's old equipment that I really wouldn't be using anyway. So, would you want to go get it in the morning, or were you thinking now, or what?
We can probably wait till the morning.
So in the morning then, she says, well, it's good. We'll go there and I'll show you where I kind of stored the old equipment and we'll look for it. No problem at all. She continues going back to doing that. So yeah, you can probably get a poisoner's kit or at least a makeshift poisoner's kit from her on that. She'll get you all the different things you need, probably little pans that you can weigh stuff out and maybe a mortar and pestle and some kind of little light, thing that you can use to distill things. Yeah.
And I guess I need to go track down components as well.
Are you going to do that in the forest?
I guess it'd be the best place. I'll go ask somebody more nature-oriented where they think the best place is.
Well, if you're headed into the forest, you might pick up Miriam's equipment while you're out there.
Yeah.
I guess I could do that.
Because and Miriam could definitely tell you where the best herbs are. She knows the forest pretty well.
Duh. I don't know why I
Yeah.
didn't ask her.
So maybe ask her to help you look for certain things.
She might know where they are, but somebody else might be able to help you
Help
find
check.
them.
True.
On second thought, I might just go run down there myself and grab them. Where would you think the best place to get these extra components to make poisons would be?
You kind of rattle off a list of things, and she says, "Oh, well, the mushrooms you're looking for right there. I know exactly where those grow. Well, here, hold on." And so she grabs a piece of paper and she says, "This is my hut." She draws you this little circular thing. She says, "If you go this direction, kind of north to east, and you look for this stone that looks like this, and this tree that looks like an old woman." And so she gives you the directions, to kind of get you there. And then there's a little pool there, and you'll see the moss that grows. And anyway, so she gives you all these directions and says that should help you. Are you sure you don't want me to go with you to help you find this stuff?
Well, if you'd like to accompany, that's fine. I just didn't want to pull you away from your.
Well, I'm sure Arlen can get everything packed up and taken up into the cave pretty easily. And you can. There's not that much stuff. Yeah. So, well, let's just go and look then.
And
And
I
less
might
responsibility.
grab my friend.
Yeah, that's right.
I might grab my friend Holt as well,
Okay.
since he knows the area decently well in nature and all that.
All
Just
right.
as a buddy system.
Okay, well, Holt is generally with the sheep, so you need to probably go look for the sheep and you'll find Holt.
All right. I guess I'll wander
As
up
you
to
know,
the
I sleep
pasture.
with the sheep.
This,
Yes, you
as
do.
we found out last game.
Very
That's right.
spicy news.
So, are you heading to the sheep now?
Yeah.
Most of the shepherds are there. They've driven the sheep kind of into, if you remember, the little area in the corner. Here, I can show you on this map. Now, it is a corral made mainly for horses, but it'll do it a pinch, basically.
But they'll still hear the sheep, so they'll be attracted.
What?
The army will hear the sheep, so they'll be
It's true.
attracted to it.
This is true. So yeah, you head over there, and sure enough, Holt is in the middle of the sheep. He's kind of checking on them, making sure they're okay. The other shepherds are out there getting food and stuff like that, ready for the sheep as well. So what are you going to ask him?
All right, Holt. Would you mind accompanying me and Miriam to the woods for a wee bit, looking for some things to make poisons?
It's like night at this point.
It's sunset. I mean, it's not dark yet, but it's going to be dark probably in the next hour or so.
Well, the way the light's set up,
Yeah. Is it like your bank account?
it might not be lasting too long. So,
Well, I can see, can't you?
sure. Yeah.
Well, if you can't, you can just hold my hand.
Sounds like a great idea. But as far as that goes, yeah, I can definitely help you out.
All right, appreciate it.
It's just,
Figure safety numbers with all the creepy crawlies out at night.
yeah.
All right, so you and Miriam and Holt gather up, head up to the front gate, and start heading towards her hut. And I'm going to pick up with everybody else. Arlen, you've gotten everything kind of packed up into crates and boxes, and people are helping you move it into the cave. You're not expected to just move it up there by yourself because it's reasonably heavy. They've set up this kind of rope and pulley system and a basket where you can put stuff in there and carry it up, and so everybody's got stuff moved in there. You notice that most the mayor and everybody else has gotten all their stuff moved up there, so your stuff is kind of the last to go in, which is probably good because that makes it easier to get at. And the Screaming Wyvern people have sent a lot of their food down into the tunnels, but they are moving some of it up into the cave as well. So everything's ready to go up there. What are you going to do now?
Once I get that sort of settled, I will probably go around and just kind of take a survey of who's going to be where. Just getting a logistical lay of the land. Like I'll go around to the people, but also our party and find out like when everything goes down, who's going to be stationed where.
Okay. Right. So it looks like several of the townspeople who have been training with the spears are going to be down in the tunnels. Also, Ilda, which is Art's apprentice, is going to be down there because she's good with a battle max shield. She's got half plate. The mill owner is also going to, who's a dwarf, is also going to be down there because he's knows how to fight and some things like that. The Fearbold, he's going to go down there, and also the half-orc Doro are going to go down there because they're pretty beefy fellows if something happens. And so they're basically putting all the townspeople who have a reasonable good chance of being able to defend themselves down there, and then of course the townspeople who have spears. They've got maybe 1 or 2 spears up in the cave, but they're making sure that the townspeople in the tunnels have a way to defend themselves. If you remember, the one end was underneath the actual statue, and so probably nobody's going to really know that's there, which means that there's only going to be one way if you guys are discovered down there for the orcs to go in, and it's 5 foot wide, should be able to hold off the orcs for a long time. They won't be able to charge in mass, which is a good thing. So yeah, so that's what it looks like. The sheep, they're not taking them down there. They've got cheese, they've got bread, they've got meat, but they're going to leave the sheep up here. I think they're hoping that the orcs will find them and then just, let them go or something like that.
And then after that, I'll head out to find our people. I'll go hunt down Elias and Satra. Just be like, so when all of this goes down, where are we planning to be? I am thinking I will be in the tunnels with the other people. There's a way out for me if things get really bad, but where are you planning to be?
I'm gonna be down in the tunnels too.
Oh wait, is Jethro also? You didn't go out with them, right?
I'd imagine I've just been moving things.
Okay.
And what
So
time is it?
I would
Pick them up and put
have
them out.
brought you in on this.
It's sunset. It's not quite,
Like 5-ish.
maybe 6, somewhere in that area.
Six-ish?
Yeah.
So what about you two? Do you have any plans so far as to where you will be?
Nope. Pretty much, I'm here to observe and to help out wherever I can, but I am not a planner.
I'll be down in the tunnels. We
I
don't know where
imagine
you
that I
are, but
will. Both y'all are going to be down the tunnels?
yeah, because I was planning on helping them with the cooking and the food and the moving the refuse and
Plan
all
on
that
being
kind
behind
of stuff.
him.
Okay.
Is where I plan on being.
I was also thinking about being in the tunnels, considering that's where the majority of people are going to be.
I thought you were going to say
However,
I was planning to be behind myself as
I
well.
was imagining Banjo
I was
Kazooie
already
with
in
him
the
being
tunnels.
the main character, be the little guy on his back all the time.
So what I'm hearing is that most of you are planning to be in the tunnels to defend the villagers because the people in the cavern are
I mean,
pretty
Well,
safe.
pretty safe
Yeah,
out there.
yeah, they are.
The
They really
chances
are.
of them going to the cavern first.
Yeah, no.
Except-
Well, even so, the cavern's a good 30, 40 feet up on the cliff face. How are they going to get up there? I mean,
Right.
yeah, right.
as long as they stay far
So-
back and keep
I
it.
feel like it
Could
would
just
be a
climb.
good
Should
idea.
barely-
Really
Yeah,
someplace.
same way we
Yeah.
did.
I think we
I
camouflage
think
it
that
too.
we,
Yeah, we did.
You did.
I think it would be good to have a way to communicate with someone in the caves.
But down in the tunnels, we will need somebody who is big and strong to keep maybe other people when they start getting a little feisty because they've been together too long.
I agree, that's why
Right, right on.
Elias.
Oh, okay.
That's me. That's me.
Spooky hairy guy with
Big
horns.
strong
Woo!
Hey, hell of a kick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
right.
one
You can put
can
me in jumpers.
calm a crowd like a bard.
That's right.
This is true.
They're definitely
Yeah, but he's
True.
gonna be behind him. So.
they're not known for rebel rousing or anything.
No.
No, never.
Or chasing down farmers' daughters while they're in the tunnels
Or
and it's
starting
dark.
revolutions or
What the heck? No.
Yeah, so I'm planning on. I have like my little cart of all my stores that I've kept,
Right.
and so I'm gonna spend the rest of the evening like baking cookies and treats for the kiddos because they're the ones that are gonna be
That's why I just want to be on.
most
You're,
upset.
if you're trying to move stuff into the tunnels, you're gonna have to set up down there. Now realize you're not gonna have an oven to bake. Okay, you'll have
Okay.
an open, even an open flame in the tunnels is probably not a good idea because there's nowhere for the smoke to go. And if
What
it does,
time?
they're going to see it. So, yeah.
But what time do I
Knock
need
a
to be in
couple
the
little
tunnels?
cracks.
Well, I don't know. You
Let's see.
may want to be down there to hand out cookies and keep people calm as soon as they get everybody moved in there, which will probably be another 30
Come and
minutes.
eat a cookie.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I'll just
Okay.
use my stores I have then.
okay. Okay. Well, you got some cookies and stuff. And remember,
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
And
Keep
I
going,
just
yeah.
want to make
I'm also
sure
going
that
around
the
and
people
I'm,
up in the
I'm
cave,
looking at the things
Also
that
have-
are thrown away
fine.
food wise. I'm looking
I
for
mean,
anything
they
that's
do have-
because in
found,
reality,
or
that's where the majority of the people that I care about in this place are.
in the cave.
For
Yeah,
sure,
no,
I
the
don't,
carpenters,
carpenter,
yes,
his
that's true.
family,
That's right.
most of those
I don't
people,
want
Art.
to- I don't want to leave them defenses. They are.
So you're going to be up there with them in the cave then? That's not a bad idea. People who are trained with weapons are going to be in the tunnels. So if you've got one person in the cave, you know, that's not
That's also where the chosen one is.
and the chosen one's
No.
armaments.
I'm out in the forest right now.
But the chosen one seems like to be a nice
Me
kid.
too.
He does.
So
Where's
far.
the chosen?
When
Well,
you
and he's giving you
Now,
he's giving you back the sword with the handle on it, so you can actually use it
People
now.
have to,
So
like-
yeah,
If somebody accidentally falls on your sword, it's not your fault.
I don't think that anything.
Wait, what?
I think that's your
I
way.
didn't murder, just get. Why do you need me then?
We went from taking care of people to murder. Where did that go? Wow, that's 180
I
degrees.
thought you felt like there is.
Yeah, right.
You're gonna get your stuff ready to go into the tunnels, right?
Yeah, it's
Sasha?
ready. I have it's just a little cart. I just
Okay.
wheel it around with me.
All right. So you can probably get people to lower your cart into the tunnels. It's going to take a little bit of work, and you're going to have to unload everything from it.
Well, I think I will. I don't want it to get destroyed.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's a nice little cart. It's got flowers on it and carvings.
So
It's cute.
we're hiding, right? So this is our
Yes.
whole thing is to hide.
And
Yeah,
I
nobody
used to hide.
Yeah. You guys have headed outside
the episode.
the castle, and you've gone to Miriam's hut. Miriam's taken you there. She starts digging around underneath where the roof is collapsed. And sure enough, there's some things under there. She pulls out one of her alembics, which you heat the stuff up so you can distill it. She pulls out one of her old scales and some things like that. She's kind of digging underneath there, and she says, "Yeah, this was underneath. Yeah, this was where the roof actually collapsed. Now I have some stuff here for you." And so she starts pulling things out, and you're realizing you're gonna need a backpack for this stuff.
Okay.
You could probably put it in your backpack, but you're also going to want to pack it so that it doesn't get damaged or broken. Otherwise, it's not going to be very
Separate
useful.
carrying case.
Yeah, so you're probably going to need to get that made or something. Which
I guess I'll just grab some cloth and wrap it up.
yeah, there's lots of stuff there. You can even use just the straw from the bedding, and
But
pack
if I'm
it-
artist.
Sure. Well, then she's not using it, right? I mean, because that's not where she's coming back to. So you grab it. You're able to find some spare crates that she has there and put some stuff into it. So you get this big armload of a crate. She says, "Well, let me show you where the mushrooms you're looking for were." And so she heads off into the forest, and you guys are following her. You've got everything settled into the tunnels. You're probably in the tunnels with them, and you've just about gone up. You've climbed up to the cavern, and as you get ready to kind of move the little makeshift, camouflage in place, there's kind of a whoosh of wings, and you notice that the kinku has landed beside you, and he kind of looks at you and says, "They're here."
Whew.
Oh.
Who exactly are here?
The orcs, goblins, trolls, ogres, they're here.
Are you
They're coming up the road from the south, through the town.
in the south through the town?
Yes.
We let everyone else know?
I sure will. Off he goes, right? So you head into the cavern,
Yes.
move the camouflage in front, make sure there's no light shining out. Okay.
Great time.
Because remember, there's still that flicker of the flame in the middle of the table. Okay. You guys have just about got everything moved in, and all of a sudden you see the kinku come striding in through one of the doors in the barracks. And he walks up to you and says, "They're here.
Please,
The orcs, the goblins, the kobolds, they're here.
how far away?
They're coming in through the town, up the main street. They'll be here very quickly."
All right.
Here. They're coming here.
They're currently tearing apart the cottages and houses, looking for things to eat and steal.
All
But
right.
they'll be here soon.
We've got to get everyone moved into the tunnels. I need you to fly out if you can, stealthily, quietly, find Miriam and Avriel and Holt. They went out foraging and they're not inside the walls.
I'll go find them. And so he walks out, and you notice he kind of spreads his wings and off up into the kind of. The sun has sank below the horizon part where it's dark now, which probably also explains why the orcs and goblins are there, because they don't like daylight.
Has anyone been moved into the tunnels yet, or is everyone still?
Pretty much everybody has. So you
Okay.
she's probably the last one
Just
with
like
her
a
cart.
workforce?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and you had moved I think you were going to pile some rocks on top of the trap door.
Okay.
So you're going to need to do that pretty quick.
Um,
And you've probably still got a few minutes while they ransack most of the cottages and houses down there. So you got a few minutes.
All right.
And you'll hear them
we
come.
have rocks nearby, or?
Yeah, there's ones up on the wall, if you remember.
Okay,
They
never
had
mind.
taken the rocks, put them up on the wall so you could drop them over, and then decided, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. So yeah, you can grab some of those rocks and move them down.
I think we're just going to try to be as quiet as possible to make them think that there's nobody here.
Right.
So you start grabbing rocks off the wall and bringing them down. Now, as you get up on the top of the walls, you can actually see what looks like the glow of flames in the village to the south. So yeah, you can see that it looks like the humanoids are looting things, burning things, tearing things down. You think you hear some kind of roars and guttural voices, but you don't actually see any humanoids yet. If they're there, they're far enough away you can't see them, but you can definitely hear them and see where they're burning things.
Now, who is saying all this exactly?
You guys are.
All
from
of
up
us
on,
are?
No, you two, because you're up on top of the walls
Just making
getting
sure.
the rocks. Yeah. You bring a couple armloads full of rocks down, pile them on top of the trapdoor. You're going to need a couple more armloads. So.
Okay. Are you still here? Or did you go up to?
No, I stayed
Okay,
down.
so you're probably with them
Yeah,
too
yeah.
then. All right, cool. All right, very good.
Yeah,
So you're grabbing stuff, rocks,
Guys,
putting them on there.
everything.
You get the trapdoor pretty well covered up to the point where, and you probably brought a couple bucket loads of sand as well, so you can kind of put it around the trapdoor and it makes it look like dirt or something like that. And it's, anybody have a stealth? Anybody have stealth? Want to make a stealth check to see if you can camouflage this well? This would be the time to make that check. By the way, everybody has inspiration, just to start with that on this time since you're all hit fit
I'm
level.
I'm
I have a.
proficient in stealth, so.
Oh yeah, let's try
Okay.
it.
Awesome.
That's what we need. You're the sneaky one.
Oh,
Nat 20.
Ooh, okay. You get it put in there, and
That's
it
what
looks
we needed.
beautiful.
It's like walking
I mean,
upon the mist.
when you all look at and you're like, I can't see anything there. Ooh, how are we going to get into the tunnels?
Isn't there another way in?
It's out in
There
the
it
cemetery.
is, out in the cemetery, outside the walls. So yeah.
We gotta sneak out.
All right.
Okay.
Towards the people.
Yes. Correct.
All right. So you head out through
Okay,
the
yeah.
drawbridge and probably leave it open. Anything you want to do before you leave the castle to try and sneak in through the?
I think we've done everything.
Yeah.
So you head outside into the cemetery. I need all of you to make a perception check.
What is my perception?
19.
19,
13.
13,
11.
11. So you guys are heading through the cemetery. You get to where you're almost to the statue of the founder, which remember is on a kind of a hollow pedestal. It should have been where his body was, but his body was not there when you went through. So you're going to have to move the statue and kind of move it back in place, which you should be able to do. And you're walking there, and you get almost to this pedestal. You start getting ready to kind of lever it up and move it, and there looks like something moves in amongst just a couple of the nicer tombs over to the side. And most people have just like headstones, but there's a couple of the nicer tombs that actually are like little crypts, and you notice something moves amongst those crypts. There's maybe 3 of them from some of the wealthier people who have died in the town. Yeah, shadowy figure, not sure. Maybe has red eyes, not real sure.
Something's out there.
I say we just put the thing in, move it, and be done.
Yeah, get in, ride,
Like, don't say
ride
anything.
fast. Yeah.
Can we tell if they have spotted us?
You're not sure.
Okay.
It kind of looked like this thing, it was either watching you, and when you turned towards it, it kind of ducked around the corner.
Well, I have night vision, so can I see more clearly?
No, because
I don't.
you rolled a what?
11.
Yeah, no. That would be a no.
I had 4 night vision.
Yeah, so.
You got a 19 though, right?
19, yeah.
You're pretty sure what you saw did not look humanoid. It doesn't look like an orc or a hobgoblin or anything like that. You're not sure what it is though.
Do we?
It's a velociraptor.
Maybe we
It's just
shouldn't
a
move the
squirrel.
statue at all.
Another
I'm worried
mind
about-
flayer.
I'm worried about if this
That's what-
thing
3
was
of
with
them.
them
Yeah.
or if it's a different thing entirely, but I'm worried about it giving our secret entrance into
See,
the
that's the
tunnels.
big thing.
So
No,
maybe
it would know
we
where your
should
secret entrance is now.
Move past us like we're not
Oh,
doing
yeah,
anything
we'll
with it. And,
Okay.
And there's just all the tentacles and weird.
or we could kill it.
Wasn't
I mean, it's gonna be. Can you kill it quick and silent?
No.
But
'Cause I-
isn't it just one, or did you say there were 3?
No, there was just you saw one shadowy figure. That's all you saw.
One.
He said there was 3 like fancy graves that they were moving.
Yeah. The
Oh,
fancy
okay.
crypts was like 3 of them. Yeah.
Do we remember Avriel describing the thing that attacked him in the thing way back when? Is
Pale
this,
skin, red eyes,
is
claws.
this
Yeah.
reminiscent?
Like robots.
No, it did not look like that.
Okay.
So if anything, this is something. It actually looked like it had clothes on, and the Morlocks actually were kind of wearing tattered clothes, nasty nappy hair. This looks like actually somebody hiding, a person maybe, elf, human.
Let's go. Maybe we should just go.
Should we spread out, flank it, try to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You spread out to kind of flank it so it can't get away, and you notice the shadowy figure. You all see it, kind of ducks around and one of the crypts. Now remember, these are crypts. They're tall. They're little buildings. Okay.
Okay, so
just possible
I guess let's
to
look
win
at the
inside.
crypt. Can I move
Doors
the
open.
door?
The doors open.
All right, the door's
Yeah.
open in the crypt.
And you realize that it was actually open about like this much, and so you have to open it a little more to get through because you're a gnome. You
I'm
could
a
probably
gnome.
you could
I'm
fit
not
through
that
there,
big.
but the rest of your
How big
Yeah.
am I?
Wait, how much noise
You're
is
pretty
this
big, right?
making?
Okay, well, when she pushes it, well, you could probably slip in through the little thing without opening
You gotta
it.
get
So
out.
if you want to, you can.
It's the horns get
I'll do that.
Okay.
Maybe
You-
since you have dark
Okay.
vision, don't go out of our range so we can save
All right,
you.
you slip around the
my hands
corner,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna. What's your AC?
I'm gonna have a hand on her collar just in case I need to yank her back.
My AC is 16. It could be 18, but I don't think I have my shield out.
All right, so you kind of lean around the corner right in time for this urn to come smashing down on your head. All right, you take 1 point of damage. Okay.
You like to hurt me. I'm just kidding.
1 point of damage. And you go, you probably inadvertently go, ow! And from inside you, shh, don't hit him. You're just supposed to hide.
Who are y'all?
So well, it's dark. I mean, you really can't see.
I'm asking. I'm
Can
saying
I
how.
not see? I mean, they hit
Oh,
me,
you look.
but
Okay,
I
you look
mean,
around the corner.
It's not like I.
There's
Quit
two
looking.
figures you can see. One of them is definitely the barmaid. Trista, the one who was
The one
missing.
Is this something that we don't want to see?
And then the
That makes me
other
nervous.
person, you remember him as one of the older journeyman brewers who had learned everything he needed to learn at the brewery and was getting ready to get a loan from the mayor and start a brewery somewhere else. And so they're kind of hiding in there, and he goes, "Oh, crap! It's Sartre! It's the gnome! I'm so sorry!"
What are you doing
She
here?
actually ran off.
Well, we were getting ready to leave together. And there's kind of a sheepish look, and you can't really see people blush, but with dark sight. But yeah, you kind of get the idea that they were getting ready to run
Look,
away
look,
Do
together.
either of them have
That's
the red
fine.
eyes we spotted?
None of them.
This is not the thing we saw?
Look, that's fine, but there is a herd of orcs and goblins and who knows what headed this way.
Okay, at which point, Alton, the guy goes, "What? Oh, we've got to hide. We've got to hide
Yes.
or run away."
Yeah, shut up. Yes,
And so
that's what we're
Tristan goes,
doing.
"We were planning to run away." And Alton goes, "Yeah, but not now. We got to hide right now." And she's like, "Where can we hide?"
As you hear the
Can I just
distant
knock them
sounds
out?
of houses being
Yeah.
broken into and everything, so
I was like, let go run towards the town.
Can we just push the door closed?
Just-
hide in here. We probably could actually.
If you are quiet.
So what are you gonna do?
I
All
say
right,
we
we're
should.
going. I'm going down the hole. Y'all can
yeah,
join
yeah.
us or not.
We should tell them get down the
We
hole.
So they grab a couple packs that look like they've got clothes and maybe a little bit of food that they had packed with them so they could hide and run away and stuff like that. And then they follow right along behind quickly. You head towards the founder statue, and of course Alton's reasonably strapping guy. He helps you pull the statue to the side. You guys slip in side there, and you wind up having to lay on your back and try and move the statue in place. That's a strength check. Who wants to try that?
Can I
Me.
do? I
I
might
can
be able
try.
to do something to try to help with it.
Mhm.
Could I, take out my water gourd
Mhm.
and like wet the rim,
Oh yeah.
freeze it into ice to make it slide
Oh,
easier? For me?
Absolutely. I will let you do that, and whoever's moving it gets advantage for sure.
Okay.
Strength?
I have +2 strength.
What?
I have +2 strength.
What's your
I'm
strength?
dangerous with dice.
What? No, what's your number?
I have
my
negative
number
1
is-
strength, so I don't. Yeah.
Well, you're need +2.
Magic users.
Don't-
14.
Okay.
You and Alton
You're the
maybe?
strength check. Make a strength check. You have advantage. Okay. Oh, that's not going to do it. So you'll need to roll again. What you got?
Oh, that's pretty good.
You get +2 for your strength.
It's
Yeah,
18.
that's
Oh, it's an 18. It's an 18.
Okay, and so at first you're not sure you're going to be able to get this to slide, and then you notice that initially it's kind of hanging up on the ice, and so you kind of smooth the ice a little bit, and then all of a sudden it goes and slides into place. It goes clunk because there's little ridges on the inside, and then you kind of call the water back, and you guys have closed it off. It's dark. But remember, there's a little tunnel that leads out of here into the tunnels where everybody is. You can very vaguely hear the villagers making noise in the tunnels. They're not loud, but I mean, you get 30, 40 people into these
You're not gonna
tunnels,
be able to
you're
keep
going to
it
hear
silent.
stuff. So, you don't hear anything untowards or anything. It just sounds like whispered talking and stuff like that. What are you guys going to do? All right, if you remember, you guys would be coming in from this side of the map right there. The townspeople are probably going to be scattered throughout these rooms right there. And honestly, that's a good bit of room for 30 or 40 people. If you remember, this is the torture chamber with the well. So there's water there, for sure. And then this is just kind of the crypt. All the bodies were gone, if you remember, because they've been animated by the people who were, or the guy who was down there, the young T with the weird staff that you have. Yep. So there you go. So you guys are coming in from here. You head down the hallway. The torches have not been lit, even though it looks like they have been. And so, what are you going to do?
Go by one of the entrances and just listen.
Okay. Right here, you notice there's
I should have a cantrip.
well, you can see fine. That's
Well,
fine.
No, but for them, I mean, I should
I've
really
got
have like a
lights.
light cantrip.
Yeah.
Prestidigitation?
I got dancing lights. So.
I have
Yeah.
prestidigitation,
Oh, okay.
but
Yeah.
if
Then
you
you
got
guys go
dancing
for
lights,
it.
we'll just...
All right, so you do dancing lights, create light, come down the hallway. Immediately as you round the corner, somebody steps out of this room here. It's one of the villagers with a spear. There's the dwarven woman with the axe and stuff like that. And she steps around the corner and says, "Oh, it's you. Where are you coming from? I thought you were hiding the other end."
Yeah, we put stuff on top of it, so we had to come back in.
Trista! And so about that time, Trista goes, yeah. And it's just, weren't you missing? And Trista goes, sort of. And then she sees Alton and the dwarven lady kind of goes, oh, I understand. Find you somewhere to... I would use the word bed down, but I don't think that's what you're looking for. And your parents are worried sick about you, Trista. You need to get back over there. And she goes, all right. And so they kind of split up, and Alton kind of looks sheepish and heads into one of the places, and Trista heads down to where her family is. So, yeah.
Hey, but at least we finally found her, so the
Right.
parents can't be angry anymore.
But yeah, you head around the corner.
Almost there.
You gonna tell them about the
That's true.
coming humanoids?
Yes, just let everybody know to get quiet as possible. Please, quiet as possible.
Okay.
No whispering, just keep it to a minimum because we're trying to be as quiet as
We should
possible.
probably inform like our heavy hitters, our guards
Yeah.
people,
Right.
that the other entrance had eyes on it, and so we need to probably divide them up and make sure that there's a couple of people in. So which entrance are you going to be listening at? Because I guess I could go to the other one.
Yeah, probably the one that's probably closest down. So it's the one we just came through because
The
it's
cemetery
probably.
one?
That's closer to the
How
town.
how long are these tunnels? Right?
Well, if you notice that they're about, I think it's 5 foot wide actually. They're probably around 30 feet long. This one right here is like 60 or 70 feet long and then turns. And then if you remember, it goes for another. I mean, they're long, straight shots is what they are. Yeah.
So if one of you wants to get at either different entrance, I can
You beat the middle.
ping between the middle and send you messages within 100 feet, and you can
True.
reply.
All right.
So just tell me which one you want me at, and that's where I'll go.
He's going to the cemetery one, so if you want to go to the one that's
Is that on
inside
the
the
top?
castle gates, yes. If you
Right.
want to go
Okay.
to the bottom one,
Yeah.
and then I'll just intermediate in the middle.
The mill owner, Torbera, and then the half-orc shepherd, Doro, is with you. So you've got the mill owner who is a dwarf, and then you've got the big half-orc shepherd guy. And then there's a couple people with spears. In the rooms, there's probably a couple more people with spears. And then, Elias, you're going to be at the other end, probably there with Ilda, the apprentice, and the Firbolg Morin.
Gotcha.
So he's big. He doesn't work real well in the tunnels because he's a pretty tall fella, but he can definitely block a tunnel and keep people from getting past him. Everybody gets pretty quiet. You think if the humanoids come up this direction, they probably won't hear anyone. They pass out food, a little bit of water for the kids. A lot of the kids have gone to sleep because it is dark and it's nighttime, and farming communities, when the sun goes down, you go to bed.
Because
Otherwise,
you
you're
work all
burning
day.
candles, and those are expensive. So everybody kind of settles in for what's going to be probably a long, spooky night. Now, you're up in the cave. You have moved the camouflage into place, Jethro. What are you going to do?
I imagine briefly check on everyone, make sure that they're okay, and that whoever's supposed to be up here is up here. But after that, I'll probably just be sitting just next to the entrance, just kind of waiting.
All right, so while you're there, Art, the tiefling blacksmith, comes walking up and kind of settles in beside you. He kind of hunkers down on his haunches and says, So, I guess now we wait.
Yep.
And he reaches into his pocket and says, Wine? He's got a wine skin.
Yep.
He kind of settles in, leaned against the wall, everything like that. The rest of you outside the castle walls, you've gathered most of the poison stuff that you need, and you're heading back towards the castle. I need a perception check from everybody.
We're good. Oh man, we're good. I got a 10. Oh wait, that's a 9. Okay, never mind.
Okay.
That's gonna be a 13 then instead.
All right.
I guess that's a little better.
Ooh, nice. I got a 12.
I didn't think.
Wow. Well, nice, because Miriam got a 13. So, yeah.
We're all
Well,
same
'cause you
level.
only needed a 12, so you're okay.
Good.
What you notice as you're coming out, heading towards the ramp that leads up to the castle, is that there seems to be a large amount of noise coming from the town. In fact, it seems like when you look that direction, you can see things that are on fire. You hear yells and grunts, and it sounds like the humanoids have arrived. And about the time you guys step out of the forest, you see this kind of dark shape, darken the moon for a second, and then the Kenku wings down and lands beside you, folds the wings up, and he says, "They're here."
Oi, well that's not great.
Seems
What-
that way.
Which you notice is the same thing he said to everyone, because Kenkus aren't real inventive. So he says, "They're here. The humanoids, they're here. The orcs, the goblins, they're here."
Well, I best we get down or up to the cave. Miriam, where are you going?
Miriam says, "Well, I can go either into the cave with you all or into the tunnels with everyone else. But since I think it'd probably be better to stay together, maybe that's what we should do."
Yeah, I think the issue is if they realized that they were here, the goblins,
We need to check
Orcs.
on the trap door for sure.
well, yeah, I mean, if they've done that, they probably already sealed everything up, so
You can head up towards the castle then to check on the trap door?
check the trap door.
All right. You start heading up towards the castle, and you notice that coming up the road from the south, there seems to be a group of humanoids. You're not sure, maybe about 10 of them. Not really sure.
Goblinoids or humanoids?
Goblinoids is what you're thinking, yeah. They seem to be coming up towards the castle. Now, if you continue going to the castle, you're going to have to do it stealthily, or you're going to have to ambush these guys and try and kill them.
How many of them are there?
You think maybe 12? 13?
What do you think? I think we should slide on in.
yeah, I'm good with that.
What, you don't think you can ambush 12 humanoids?
Well, I think we could, but it's the next round after that's what I'm a little afraid of.
Miriam is secretly a badass. I think you got this.
She actually is a bit of a...
We also want them to pass by.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
That's
So,
pretty good.
actually have Miriam's stats.
That's gonna be a 25.
Wow.
All right, you're a sneaky.
Alright.
Miriam got a 21, but that was with a natural 20, so
Nice.
she's good.
Good roll. Good rolls. Good rolls all around, right?
What we get?
What's your
Got a trick over there?
bonus?
Yeah, true.
Let me see.
This is a group
I
check,
got an
right?
8. However, I'm very inspired
Yeah.
to be even more stealthy.
So, okay, I gotcha. Rock and roll, man.
So 21.
Okay.
Hey!
There you go.
Nice.
That worked out.
Time to use that inspiration, right?
Well, I guess that's all the inspiration.
There you go.
I was so inspired to do good.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. You saw Miriam and I like, God damn, they're stealthy. Hang on.
Mm-hmm.
Tighten up your
Showing up,
shoelaces.
yeah.
I was like, whew. Can't be the only one.
Okay, so you begin heading up to the castle. You see the humanoids coming along by you. Miriam kind of gestures with her hand, and you notice that something glows off down the road, maybe towards one of the mayor's house. And one of the humanoids says, "Where's that?" And they all start heading towards the light. And so Miriam turns towards you and says, "I bought us a distraction. Let's get up the hill." So you guys take off up the hill, quietly moving up the hill, get to the top, and get to the drawbridge, which you had left down, if you remember.
Okay.
Inside, everybody's gone. The sheep are still there, but everybody's gone.
Do we smack the sheep on the ass and let them go? Do they work like that?
Yeah, they do.
Holt says in his experience, no.
You hold him closer, that's what he says.
Go my time, my kind of sheep.
There you go.
I mean,
You're gonna get slaughtered either way.
yeah. It's just, you know, if we do that, they are gonna make a lot of noise, which I mean, if they stay here, they're gonna make a lot of noise too. So
But do we move them quietly out then and smack them on the ass?
we can try.
Do sheep move quietly?
Not unless you got a silence spell. I was going to see if, no. Miriam does not have silence, so, yeah.
I do, but I'm downstairs.
You're downstairs, taking care of the villagers, not hiding.
I'm just thinking if they come to the castle and see there's sheep in the fence, they're gonna think something's maybe a fishy.
Or sheepy.
Um,
Sheepish.
Sheepish.
What if?
Lift everything else in town.
What if I cast pass without a trace?
On the sheep.
How many sheep
On
are
the
there?
herd?
That's
The collective herd?
What exactly does pass without trace do? Give me a little more information.
A veil of shadows and silence radiates from you, masking you and your companions from detection. For the duration, each creature you choose within 30 feet of you, including yourself, has plus 10 bonus to dexterity stealth checks, and can't be tracked except by magical means.
I'm not even sure what stealth would be on a sheep.
Probably try.
Well, it
Probably
could be
try.
based on
They get at least
dexterity.
plus 10 though.
I won't say no.
Sheep are kind of dexterous creatures. I mean,
They're
you
also stupid.
But
They are.
they
Oh,
can,
you could talk to them and tell them, "Y'all
but
shut
if
the
they're
fuck up."
but if they're scared, they like run in a direction
Yeah.
and don't deviate until they kill themselves off a cliff.
Okay, so they have a dex
Like a
of
lemon?
as long as
10.
that direction is away.
But they don't really follow each other. Just
As long as that direction is away from the
Sure, I'll let you roll for the sheep. What does it give them? A plus what? Plus 10?
Plus 10 to...
Yeah, make a roll.
Make me some
Now,
stealth.
understand that they do not have the stealth skill, so this is just a raw d20, okay? And you add plus 10 to it.
you can do it. Easy.
I'll let you do it,
Too
sure.
easy.
I
right?
just like the idea of sneaky sheep.
And,
Those don't. Yeah, that's not my
yeah.
oxymoron, right?
Take my
Sneaky
spell
sheep.
slot real quick.
Mhm.
Alright, I cast that.
Sorry, no,
I'm going to. I do have the ability, just the natural ability through being a shepherd druid to speak to animals and they can understand me. I just can't. I can understand their gestures and noises back, but not like words.
Right.
So I'm also gonna be like, "Hey guys, be very quiet. You know,
When you walk up to
we're
them,
good
they're
friends.
meh, meh, and you go, shh, they go,
That's much better. You see, like just like you know, like when I'm trying to sleep at night."
when you go, meh, one of the other sheep nudges him and looks at him really mad. So they seem to get the idea that they're supposed to be quiet.
So we're gonna open the little gate where they're at, and I'm gonna try to tell them, "Hey, let's go this way." And yep,
What'd you get?
A 3.
13.
Hey!
Okay.
It's a 3 plus 10.
You called it.
I need you to make an intimidation check too.
Are you kidding?
Oh, you got
Intimidate?
this.
I'm not going there.
Hey, you sheep.
Male sheep are a little bit.
I know.
ornery.
I'm not going there.
Hey, you sheep, and one of the male ones comes by me. I headbutt it real quick, and then
Nice.
yep, that definitely worked. 12.
All right, so you grab the lead sheep, and he kind of gets this crazy look in his eyes and comes charging towards you. Very quietly charging towards you, and you you kind of brace yourself and grab his horns, and he looks at you and then kind of gives up, and you lead him out of there.
Hey, good job.
Crisis averted. The shepherding skills paying off there. The rest of the sheep follow this main one. There's only probably about 20 sheep, honestly, and you lead them out the gate. What are you gonna do with them?
Well, I'm gonna lead them out the gate,
Mm-hmm.
and dang, actually, now that I think about it,
There are woods right there and
yeah.
there.
Well, the problem is there's a cliff face behind it, and down here there's a squad of 10 goblins
Yeah.
that are only mildly distracted down there.
Yeah.
You just have to
Well, you have
trust
not
them
seen
to
the
not kill
goblins coming
themselves.
back up the road. I will tell you that. Much. You have not
Go
seen.
down that
So
river.
they may have found the mayor's house, and they may be kind of busy with the mayor's house or something like that. So
Right. So
probably a good bit of stuff in there to play with.
yeah, but the mayor's house is also pretty close to the entrance to that.
It is. That is correct.
I guess we'll just try to. I don't know where else to go with this.
Send them towards the woods. You could send them this way towards the mayor's house. That might distract, or you can send them that way towards the woods if you're trying to keep them safe.
Yeah, I would try to send them this way, but
Okay.
I'm just trying to get down here without.
You should. Well, you don't. Like I said, you don't see them on the road anymore. So
Okay.
it looks like the humanoids may be over here. You do hear lots of noises, and it looks like they've broken into the mayor's house and probably are finding his, wine and beer and food stores and
You
so.
mean he didn't take that with him?
And sheep
Well,
got
what he
away.
could move, but glass bottles don't travel well sometimes.
Yeah.
They don't seem to have noticed you. You kind of loop around here, head towards the forest, get to the edge of the forest very quietly. Again, the sheep are remarkably quiet for sheep.
Once we get as far as I can get, I'm gonna just be like, go, be free into the woods, have a lot of sheep babies.
So the sheep start heading off into the woods. A couple of them turn around and look at you and, like waiting for you to come along with them. And then you go, and they're kind of like, they wander off into the woods. Several of them get right inside the edge of the forest and immediately stop and eat because they're sheep. They're not real bright. And so a few of them don't even get into the forest. They get, maybe 3 feet away from you and start eating because they're just dumb. But yeah, you've at least gotten them around and down and out. And what are you guys going to do now?
Well, I'm guessing if he came with me down there.
Well, and Miriam did too.
Oh, right. Then we'll then sneak back up the gate area, or back up the entrance area, and we'll probably go find our positions that we need to get into for the hunkering down.
Well, where are you wanting to get to? I guess would be
We
the
back
next
together?
one.
Yeah, I just dropped off the sheep in the woods and
I guess we go back up to the
You're gonna go to
mouth of the cave, and if
mouth of the cave.
we didn't tell the other people, you would do your thing, and
yeah,
I don't know.
we'll do
When
that.
y'all were in there, did y'all see that the entrance or anything?
You can go check it.
Oh yeah, we still need to check the trap door. Yeah.
Okay, so you head back. Well, you had probably all three of you head back up there. You still have not seen the group of humanoids that went towards the mayor's house, and you still hear them. What it sounds like over there, trashing things. Every once in a while, you hear a crash, a chuckle, or something like that. So they seem to be ransacking it pretty well. Down again towards the south in the village, you still hear lots of things going on down there. But the sounds do seem to be moving towards you from the village. So whatever it is, it seems like they're gradually making their way through, finding stuff and moving north. Head into the castle, step into the barracks. You're not exactly sure where the trapdoor was. You're thinking it might have been over here by, oops, let me zoom in just a little bit. You're thinking it might have been over here where this chest is. Maybe it was underneath the
Can
chest.
I make an investigation roll to try and search for it real quick, just to make sure it's
Yeah,
loaded in?
sure. Yeah, well, you don't see it. I mean, it's gone.
Well, I think that, I'm
being
not
bad
gonna lie.
day.
I think it's on the right side. Wasn't it?
I hate the crap out of that.
Yeah.
Let me see. I got a 7.
You go over and you're thinking, okay, that's right. We put the chest on top of the trap door, and so you pick up the chest and there's no trap door.
I think you're thinking
Well,
there wasn't a trapdoor and you're just misremembering.
Or was it by the entrance?
I think they hit it really well.
That's what you're getting the idea. You can't even find it. You're
Wait.
not sure where it is.
Was it in the barracks or was it in that
Or was it
little?
the stables? I think.
Fuck, I'm an artiste.
I can't remember.
Yeah, wherever it is, if it's in the barracks or the stables, it's hidden well. Yeah. You may have to go look in the stables, yeah. What the heck? Wait,
Well,
I think the entrance is in the cave.
Oh, that's where we left it.
yeah,
We
right.
left it in the cave.
We moved it there for safekeeping. Right, you got it. You moved the entrance.
What great planners we are. All right, let's head up to the cave.
They probably just sealed it completely.
Yeah,
Permanently sealed.
duct tape,
Full
super
of
glue.
cement.
Yeah, they just sealed it completely after.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody knows you pick up the trap door and you put it where you want, and
That's
that's where
right.
the
That's
entrance
right.
is.
It's exactly how it works. Yeah.
That'd been great. We should have thought of that.
No, right.
They somehow made it
So
safer.
heading to the cave, heading to the cave now. You could probably sneak out the postern gate behind the waterfall now and kind of get to the cave surreptitiously.
I will go last
Okay.
to make sure everybody's like tied off well and pulled up the side of the cave.
Okay. So Miriam's gonna go. Well, when you get to the base of the cave and there's no rope. Okay.
I will go first and lower the rope down then.
What are you gonna climb up there to get it? I mean, you can climb the cliff.
Unless somebody else has a better idea.
Let me see.
I don't know, actually.
You have a potion.
That's true. I kind of say that for the battle, though.
Well, that's a good point. Yes.
So what I'm going to do
Mhm.
is I'm going to go up to the wall and just, I got this. And I'm going to cast Mold Earth
Mhm.
to give myself a little handhold.
Okay.
And I'm going to do Mold Earth.
Okay.
That's a cantrip.
Yeah,
and,
right.
But I can only have 2 instances of like the lasting effects of it
Right,
at a
right.
time. So I'm just going to like help myself out a little bit with some
Right.
hand. or
And so then they
footholds.
go away as soon as you move past. Okay,
Right.
You can do that.
I like that. That's really
I
cool.
am gonna need you to make me an athletics check because you're climbing. Shouldn't be hard to do.
Can you get advantage because mold earth?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you advantage on that. Yeah, sure, that's reasonable.
He's mold earth.
The first one's a 10,
That's not bad. A 10 total, or
and the second one's a 4.
All right.
I have 0 plus 0 for strength.
well, no, it's an athletics check. Do you have athletics?
Well, it's plus 0 for athletics also.
Oh, you're not proficient in athletics. Gotcha. Okay. All right. So you start climbing along. Well, what the problem is you're having trouble because there's so much rock. Really finding, places to dig your hands in, and so it's turning out to take a lot longer than you realized. So you're climbing. You get like maybe 5 feet over from the wall, and it's taking you 10 minutes, and you're like, maybe this is not the way to go. So yeah.
So I kind
So he's
of
like 2 feet up. He's like, I'm almost there.
Well, he's probably about 20 feet up because he started on top of the wall, but he's only like 5 feet over, so he could kind of just step back onto the wall
So,
practically.
yeah. I'm gonna look back at Avril, and I'm gonna start climbing back a little bit. Be like, maybe you should go first.
I can if you like.
Yeah. All right.
All right. And I'll.
And as soon as I get off the wall, I'm like, oh.
Rubber.
Noodle arms.
So just waits a moment, everyone else does for a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stay up there. I'll shoot you with my longbow and a rope, and then you dig it into the wall, and we'll climb up.
Pins me to the wall.
Yeah, thanks.
Gotcha.
That's great.
So you gonna climb over then? See if you can get there?
Yeah, I guess I'll attempt at climbing.
Okay. Are you gonna go from the top of the wall, or are you gonna just walk underneath the cave and climb up from there? Or what's your thoughts?
What looks best? Easiest to traverse.
Probably about the same. I mean, you're a roguish type guy, so your climbing skills are pretty good, if I remember.
I've got great acrobatics and decent athletics.
Okay, I'll let you use acrobatics since you're kind of. That's I think what you used before to sneak up on the drow was acrobatics. Yeah.
That's probably stealth. Oh yeah, when I was going across the
Yeah.
You know, if they're doing backflips and stuff, just.
You do have inspiration if you'd like to. You're the inspiration. I'm gonna sing that, and nobody's gonna know what I'm talking about on this thing.
I got a 14 for acrobatics.
Okay.
10.
So you begin.
With it, man.
Yeah. You begin climbing across from the wall. You're able to kind of find things to grab onto. There's little, sprigs of tree that's sticking out that you're able to kind of swing across and grab. And it takes you maybe about 5-10 minutes, and you're able to finally make it to the ledge. Okay. Unfortunately, on the ledge there is no other way to help everybody up.
So if there was rock to tie a rope to or anything.
Well, there is rock to tie a rope to, but there's no rope.
Oh, I've got rope.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no,
All right.
I've got this.
So you tie it to.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you do too. Dungeoneer.
Classic Dungeoneering pack.
Yeah, all the Dungeoneer packs.
Which I think the Dungeoneer pack is like
Yeah.
hemp and rope or something.
Yeah,
like
I think
that.
you're right.
I
Yeah.
know at least 3
As
of y'all
well
had
they
rope
Eventually they
because we
realized
had to tie
no one
all of
goes
them
anywhere
together.
without
Right.
around that well.
A 10-foot pole or 11-foot pole.
Which-
Things you wouldn't touch with a
which-
10-foot pole.
The
right.
Boondock Saints movie. The
So
rope
funny with the
use?
rope.
With that
Oh, yeah.
rope.
There's your knife, Rambo.
These fucking rope.
Why'd you to rope it? You know, it
Hmm.
really was more like a D&D adventure the way that
It
all
really
played
was,
out. I mean, it's what
The way
happened.
they made a plan and
Nothing
what actually
happens.
happened.
Yeah.
They fall out of the duct work, hanging upside down, spinning,
Tangled.
shooting.
Perfect shot.
Completely surprised
Yeah.
that it worked.
That was the divine intervention.
Yeah.
Right? That's why they were the hands of God.
Yeah. And I loved in the second movie where you got to see the plans they formed in their brain and how
Oh, right.
expertly it was executed, and they would do it in just a shit show every
Nothing
time.
would
It's
go right.
it's like the opposite of Ocean's 11.
Yeah. You're not
Yeah, pretty
wrong.
much.
You're not
Pretty much.
wrong.
Oh,
my gosh. So you
I've got 50 foot of hemp and rope, and I'll tie it to a rock and
and you drop it over the
lower
edge.
it down.
He drops the rope down to you. Holt, you and Miriam scramble up pretty quickly. You're able to see the little camouflage rock and wood thing that's in front of the way. You guys, you and Art are sitting there. You finished this skin of wine that he's handed out to you. It's probably been, a couple hours. And the rock front starts to move. The camouflage rock front.
I grab the sword and put my foot on the rock.
Okay. Well, it's
Because this
sliding.
rock's about to go.
Yeah. And it slides out of the way, and you see that Avriel sticks his head kind of around the corner, and you realize who it is.
Oi, let us in!
Okay.
Think about it.
From the back.
And then think about it.
Yeah.
Just gotta
Miriam-
stop for a second, look at the sword. It's not glowing. Alright.
Yeah, it's not enemies, right? You're right.
Or is it?
Oh, maybe it's a sneaky enemy. So you duck inside, pull the camouflage back in front, which actually does pretty good. You realize that it.
2 feet light, I can't see it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so you're in the tunnel now with Art and Jethro. There's a little bit of flickering light, remember, from the flame that's on the table,
Yeah.
so you can see, even if you don't have dark sight.
got the front. I need to work on something.
Yep.
Let me know if you need any backup when they're charging in or something. And I'm gonna go find a corner off by myself and begin making poisons.
Okay.
It takes an hour, so.
Right. You were able to find an area probably where his sword was, because this is a pretty big cave. Though it is a little tight quarters because there's about there's several families there. But you're able to find kind of a quiet area where, and there's enough light to see by. You can start doing the poison thing. Miriam kind of settles in behind you further down there.
Just imagine you get over there and he just start doing all this stuff and whatnot, and then there's his little spot. He's just someone's like, "What are you doing? Everyone look away! Everyone look away!"
Don't inhale those fumes, right?
So Miriam's up a little bit further behind me.
Right, and she's a spellcaster, so she wants you in front. That's for sure. It's pretty quiet. You don't hear anything going on. An hour goes by. The mayor comes out and checks to see if anything's going on, and you haven't heard anything. He leaves. A few minutes later, the hydrant gentleman shows up with a bottle of wine, puts the corkscrew in, pulls out, hands it to you guys, and sits down and kind of says, "Well, do you think we're okay?"
For now.
Okay, well, enjoy the wine. And
Oh,
he
thank you.
kind of heads back down towards the end of the tunnel, which you're kind of like, we really probably shouldn't be drinking too much wine while we're on guard duty, but it's like I say,
Keep giving it.
yeah. Another couple hours goes by, and the carpenter, your boss, comes up to you and says, "I'll take the next couple hours. You guys get some rest." And so he and the other carpenter,
Is it
Darvin, the guy with the mustache, yeah. Darvin Starrag and the carpenter owner.
I think Darvin Starrag is the carpenter owner.
Is he? Oh, he is, isn't he? Yeah, you're right. Anyway, so Darvin comes down there with his mace, and he says, "Well, I'll take the next watch. You guys get some rest." And he kind of sits down there. He takes the bottle of wine from you.
Fair enough.
And sits in the tunnel. Miriam, you notice, has kind of drifted back into the room, has found a place to kind of curl up with a blanket against the wall, and seems like she's dozing off. So yeah. Anything else you want to do? You finished making your poisons. You are tired. It's
So
probably
I
good.
make
Uh-huh.
my proficiency bonus number of
That
poisons.
should be
So
3.
I've got 3 now.
Yeah. Should be 3. I think everybody's proficiency bonus is 3 right now. Yep.
I guess I will just talk to my snake a little bit. And
Well, you're tired
Proficiency
enough. You could
bonus?
probably sleep too.
that's true. It has been all day. I'll take a rest.
Okay.
I
Um,
do want to position myself now though near the front of the tunnel.
okay, something happens. Yeah.
So I can be like the first or one of the first to know if the alert is wrong.
All of you sleep in the tunnels too. All of you sleep pretty well. I mean, you're nervous, you're concerned. Those of you who are down towards any of the ends of the tunnels don't hear anybody stomping around in there. Definitely not towards the end where you are, and the end towards where you and Sartre are. I mean, you don't hear anything down there, or anybody seems to be moving the rocks or anything like that. It's quiet. Most of the villagers are asleep. You're having a little trouble not nodding off too. Eventually, you think you do kind of nod off a little bit, but yeah, nothing really happens. You wake up.
Grab a question for a little makeup.
Huh? What? No. You wake up somewhat well rested. No exhaustion levels, but you're definitely a little punchy. You could definitely use something like coffee or something along those lines.
I've got something punchy.
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah,
it
but
might,
you
might not be what you're looking for.
do. Right. It's a stimulant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody want to check and see what's going on outside in the castle?
Yeah, so. Could we. I guess we're
You're down in the tunnels too,
Yeah,
right?
done.
Alright.
I'm gonna send my snake Saren with him as well.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna go out and check, but first, before I go, I want to talk to anybody up here. Is there any information we should try to relay to our?
I didn't hear Holt actually say anything. He was like, I'm going to send my snake with him too. Like,
We're just that in sync. Our roles are in
Always.
sync, our thoughts are in sync.
Simpatico.
That's right.
Simpatico.
We're in there.
We're speaking
Um,
their head.
Is there anything
He's doing that teeth
that would be
part,
good
halfway through.
to relay to our friends in the tunnel?
Well, I can talk to
Yes,
animals.
I guess a
As a
status
gnome.
update.
Okay.
Everybody's here. Miriam's with us.
True, because
Isn't
they,
that right?
they
I'm
probably
not
never
thinking
saw
about
us
They
come back.
don't
So
even know that we're alive at this point.
that's good. That's
True,
good. That's
true,
a good
true,
call.
All right.
It might take our head.
So you head to the camouflage rock wall. You gonna peek out first?
Well, what I'm planning to potentially do is I'm gonna turn into a small spider.
Mm-hmm.
And is there enough room for me to fit out as a
Snake.
spider, or?
The snake eats you. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah. Don't
that.
eat the druid.
fire. Yeah.
True.
Don't treat to eat the druid.
Oh no! Wait, this snake is
Big.
maybe like
Right.
mine. So you're saying
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry
You
for
just
your
killed
loss.
snakes,
yeah.
As a Drew goes 0 hit points, he just reverts back.
No,
Sorry for your
the
loss.
snake goes.
Yeah.
Snake goes.
Just-
Yeah. Explosion of the snake guts. Yeah. Because it's a tiny snake.
Well, that's not good. Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
That's true.
So you sneak out riding on top of the snake, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. And then I'll also talk to the snake, because I can talk to animals,
Right.
kind of, and just be like, hey, don't hit me, by the way.
The snake has a lisp. He says, "Okay."
We're boys.
Saren.
Great.
Okay.
And so we'll go out and I'll see if I can see anything.
You're able to kind of slide out underneath the makeshift camouflage that's there. You see groups of humanoids kind of further down the road towards where the village is milling around. It's early morning. The sun's up, but it's not up by much. You do hear some noises coming from the interior of the castle, so you can probably drop down or climb across as a spider to the wall and look inside if you'd like. Now the snake's not going to be able to do that. He's going to have to kind of like drop down a little bit, but he's a snake. They're made of rubber, so it's fine.
Right.
Or something.
That's something. I'm pretty sure snakes are made of rubber. Anyway, so
He can just take my rope now.
Some snakes can
I've got-
climb pretty okay.
Yeah.
so those flying snakes. That's another story. It's like flying spiders. Anyway,
So,
yeah. So you climb across the wall, line up on top of the castle walls, and you see what looks like maybe 15. Yeah, you're thinking it's like 15 orcs, several of them that are a little larger than the others that are kind of going around the place. Looks like they're looking for anything of value. They don't seem to have found anything. Several of them are carrying what looks like bags and packages that maybe from other places that they've looted. But they're looking around. It doesn't seem like they found the camouflage in the barracks. There's no cries of alarm or anything like that. So, do you speak Orcish?
I don't.
Okay. They're talking to each other in a language.
But my snake does.
You're right. It's the orca snake.
He can talk.
But they don't. You don't recognize exactly what they're saying. They're talking back and forth. One of them kind of looks over at the pen where the sheep were, looks around and notices the hoof prints and starts following what looks like the sheep hoof prints out of the castle down towards where the ramp leads down to the forest. So you think they may have picked up the trail of the sheep.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's pretty good. So, do in that case want to, yes, see if me and the snake can kind of head over towards where the graveyard is and get close to that main grave there.
Right, the one with the big statue?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can. You can definitely get there. The problem is you're not going to be able to slide in. There's no real cracks there. It's pretty well, give me a D6 roll.
Ooh. 5.
Yeah, it's pretty tightly sealed, so to do anything, you're going to have to move the statue off, which, you're a druid. You could probably change it to something that'll give you the strength bonus you need, so.
Well, what I'm going to see if I can do is just, is there any creatures really close to me right now?
Besides
that
snake.
I can see right? Yeah, okay.
Besides snake, no.
So, in that case, what I'm going to try to do is speak, see if there's anybody that I can connect to within 30 feet to see if I can speak to them telepathically there on the other side of it.
You get a kind of a weak connection to what you think is a human. You think it may be Mormon, your boss. Yeah, he seems to be sleeping. Is at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll be able to wake him up, but I'll maybe send some thinking thoughts his way.
Give me a wisdom check.
How do you yell in telepathy?
Exactly.
I'm gonna go with a wisdom check, just kind of raw wisdom, whether you can yell loud enough with your mind.
Yeah.
Not sure.
17.
Oh yeah, actually,
Nice.
you kind of think really loud thoughts or something, and you kind of get this groggy. Hold.
And I'm like, yeah, it's me. I'm outside of the statue or the grave.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I stayed up in the cave, and I was just gonna relay some information.
Oh, okay. Everybody's fine here as well. They did a really good job of hiding the entrance.
Yeah, I didn't even see an entrance. So.
It's on the right-hand side of the barracks. But look, it's really well hidden, so don't mess with it.
Oh yeah, of course.
Do you need me to let you in through into the tunnels?
I don't think that would be a good idea. There is a lot of motion out and about, so we're just trying to lay low right now.
Okay. Well, as long as you're okay, everybody's fine here.
Yeah, we got me and Avril and Miriam made it back last night, and it seemed like things had already gotten started, so we ended up just going to the cave.
Right. Trista's back with Alton. It seems like they ran away or planning to run away together. She's fine. Though her family's pretty irritated with her and Alton.
Yeah, we were looking for her.
Maybe there's a wedding in the future. Who knows?
That's
A forced marriage.
that's pretty crazy.
There's not really much force to it. They were planning to
Oh,
get
yeah.
married anyway. They just didn't want to do it here.
So in that case, told them we were back and stuff, and I'm just saying, yeah, things are still calm, but there's motion in the area, and things have definitely escalated, but it's still calm. So it's at this moment, it's okay potentially.
We'll stay here then and keep it quiet. So, all right.
If you can, just see if you guys can make sure somebody stays posted close enough to this entrance, and I can relay information again in the future.
Okay. We'll do that.
Appreciate it.
And so you can tell, you kind of move away from him, and the connection gets more tenuous and more tenuous until eventually it kind of clicks off. Yeah, but everybody seems fine down there as far as you can tell. Morgan relays the message to all of you in the tunnels that the rest of the group, Holt and Miriam and Avrael, have made their way back up to the cavern. Everybody's fine. Everybody in the cavern seems to be fine. They're just hunkered down and waiting. But there's humanoids out and about.
Remember that we seem to be really quiet.
Yeah, well, you doesn't seem like anybody started to try and break their way in. So yeah, you think you're fine.
And didn't you say there was? Where did I hear some sound at?
There were just orcs in the castle, is what it was,
Okay.
looking for stuff to forage, and they headed actually out of the castle now, trying to find the sheep.
What
So
time is this?
morning, pretty early morning.
That's right. They had
Sun's
seemed
up.
like they were following the trail of the
Right,
sheep.
right. Sun's up, but that's about it. All you can say for it is probably 7, maybe 8 o'clock.
In that case, if I can, I wouldn't mind going over towards the edge real quick
Mm-hmm. You can
and just looking down and see if I can see anything that direction.
just barely. You can tell that the carpentry, or the carpenter and the lumber mill looks like it's been ransacked. You can see doors standing open, windows that are broken. The barns have been open, but it doesn't look like they took any of the lumber or anything like that. And you don't see anybody moving around down there. But nocturnal creatures, if they're anywhere, they're going to be sleeping right now because it's just hard for them to operate during the daytime.
Okay.
As you look a little further along, you can, from what little you can see, and again, it's pretty far away. It looks like most of the buildings you can see, including what little you can make out of the mayor's house, doors are standing open, windows are broken, that kind of stuff. So they've definitely been ransacking the buildings. Towards the forest, you do see a group of 12 or 13 orcs have caught a couple of the sheep. They've got them. They're throwing them into sacks. They're really excited that they found 10 or 15, well, probably 5 or 10 of these sheep, and they're trying to grab them. And so yeah, the ram headbutts a couple of them. At which point, one of the guys pulls out a sword and kills it. And yeah, and so, wow. And so they grab the ram, throw him over his shoulders, and look like they're going to take it down there. And they immediately, once they've got the ram and a couple of the other sheep in bags, they start heading back south towards where the main part of the village is. Looks like they're going to be leaving the castle alone. So yeah.
Sounds good.
Well, there wasn't really anything up there for them to eat, for all that matter, and that's remember what they seem to be looking for. So yeah.
In that case, I'm gonna see if me and my snake friend want to head back up to the cave, and we'll see if we can't relay this information back to those people.
You head back up to the cave, sneak back inside, give them the download of what's happened.
Right.
The rest of you are in the tunnels or are passing out food for the morning, cold porridge and some things like that, fruit.
I did my elixir thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I did my elixir thing, and I got a healing potion,
Okay.
and then an unknown, and I also got a gallon of honey.
Okay. Sounds sticky.
Well, that's from the alchemy jug. I figured that'd help. Sweets always make people feel happier.
You can always soak your cakes and stuff in it. And
I was thinking honey water for the kids.
sounds sweet and sticky.
Yeah.
Sounds like a bardic song, right? So that being said, the rest of the day, stop me if you want to do anything particular this day, passes pretty quietly in the tunnels and in the cave. Doesn't seem like any more humanoids come up towards the castle. Night falls and things get a little noisier down towards the village. You do think you maybe hear a few things going on in the castle, like maybe some other people come up to check things out, but nobody messes with the trap door, thank goodness. So yeah, it seems like you're pretty well hidden. You're able to peek out from behind the camouflaged rocks and stuff every once in a while and set watches. Nobody seems to know anything that you guys are here. A few more of the sheep get rounded up, but yeah, it's pretty quiet. Yes.
Can I go around? I had some cookies left over.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna break them up a
It's
little bit.
nighttime. Don't give the kids
I
cookies.
thought it was
after that.
daytime. Sorry.
Well, we've moved
I
to the
thought we
day
moved
into
to day.
nighttime. Yeah.
Again? Okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
You can
Pretty
just say
quiet.
you did it earlier.
I did it
Yeah, you
earlier
can
today.
if you'd like to do it earlier in the day. The night goes pretty quietly, setting watches. Again, you're starting to believe that you may be able to wait this out, and the next day dawns bright and early. It's a little quieter. you've been, maybe the sun's been up for, I don't know, maybe a couple hours, and you hear some rapping on the, not, some tapping on the outside of the, tapping on the outside of the rock camouflage.
Look at the sword.
Mm-hmm. Nope, not glowing, no. Seems safe. It's the Kenku. And he looks at him and he says, more people coming.
Wow.
On horses.
Oh, that might be good.
Is that
Hobgoblins
people
around.
or
Is that like more goblins and?
No, like you, horses, armor, lances. They've also got people marching with spears and shields behind them.
Does he recognize any symbols that they carry?
It might be.
Just saying.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
we've lived here for a while, we should probably know the neighboring symbols.
Right.
He's
He
a simple
says-
forester, though. He might not care. Turns out it's bandits in league with
He's
the orcs.
also a master of imitation. He could draw me this.
Turns out it's actually an army of drow.
Yeah.
Oh god. And
Right.
the daylight, the entire Underdark is coming. Those cunning bastards. I never thought they'd attack in the day.
Discovered Sentinel lotion?
That's it. SPF 80.
And like extremely tinted goggles.
There you go. Let's see. Okay. He says it might be the Duchy of Ironstone. Maybe. I'm not sure about their symbols.
Fair enough. I'll take that chance. Are there still more orcs, goblins, kobolds, and whatnot about and about?
No, they're gone.
This might be our chance.
Mm-hmm.
You gonna open the camouflage?
I think so.
All right. Pull the camouflage out of the way. Everybody kind of starts peeking out. You gonna take a point?
Sure.
All right. Heading up the road from the south, you see what looks like a line of horsemen, about 4 abreast. It looks like there's maybe 20 or 30 of them, and behind them are marching what looks like maybe 100, 120 guardsmen. They're carrying what looks like pikes or spears, something like that. They've got shields. They're marching in what looks like chainmail helmets. They've got wagons behind them that are carrying food and things like that, so they can move, and replacement horses for the knights up front. They come riding up towards the castle, kind of slowly. They're not moving fast. And you notice at the front, there's a gentleman in a robe. He's riding beside this guy who's wearing this ornate armor and a beautiful shield, and on it looks like the sigil of Ironstone, which is, you know, a big gray stone, and it's got a castle built on top of it.
Just to make sure that my mental image is correct.
Yeah.
It's like a fancy flowing robe, not like a bathrobe.
No, this is more like a mage's robe.
Okay.
Mage's
got it,
robe.
got
He's
it.
riding beside the guy in the ornate armor, so mage's robe, not a bathrobe. That'd be weird. Yeah.
I was about to say, this man must be incredibly important.
Ride around in a bathrobe on a horse. That sounds like it'd be just really uncomfortable. Yeah.
How dare you wake me up from my box?
Yeah, that's right. So they come riding up there. What are you going to do? You can see them. They're not being subtle, not being quiet. They kicked up a bunch of dust.
I mean, at this point, or are we actually like making our way down the
No,
thing?
you guys are still up on top of the ledge. You do notice that periodically groups of about 4 or 5 of the guardsmen will head off down the side roads to check on the houses and things like that. And periodically others are reporting in, I guess, letting the guys at the front know what's going on.
Just kind of yell back to the cave. I think some soldiers from Ironstone are here. This might be our chance to make it out.
Alright, well let's mobile up.
So you coming down?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Slide down the rope. People start kind of peeking out, sliding down. One of the men riding beside the guy in the ornate armor kind of points in your direction and then rides over to you. He's on this huge horse with full mail. He's got what looks like a half plate on, and he's got a shield, and he rides up with 2 other guys who are knights, and he says, I assume these are the survivors of Stonegate?
These are a few of them. The rest are in some tunnels below.
Tunnels below. So how many villagers were slain by the evil humanoids? And he looks a little puzzled.
What? Oh, it was
None.
the earthquake that.
I'm hoping none, to be honest.
So where are these humanoids you've been telling us about? Or that we were told about.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. At which point you notice that the mage has this funny-looking water bird perched on his saddle horn, and the bird is looking around like that. And at which point the mage reaches into a pouch, pulls out a fish, and the thing goes and swallows it down, and just kind of is looking around. And so.
The bird!
And
It worked!
And the bird looks at you and then looks around, and the kind of the mage reaches over and pets him like that, and the bird kind of does this kind of thing where it looks like
So there was a massive group of them that came that ransacked most of the town. We barely got everyone either in the cavern or down in the tunnels before they showed up. They were here for a while. I think we were in there for 2 or 3 days.
A couple days, yeah. He says, well, that's interesting because we haven't seen any humanoids. I mean, obviously the buildings in the town are ransacked. It looks like somebody's gone through them and smashed things looking for items, but we haven't run across any humanoids at all. I don't know if they left before we got here or what. And so he says, well, the Duke is definitely going to want to speak to you. Is the mayor up there?
Yes.
The mayor starts sliding down a rope very carefully, and of course, following quickly behind him is, let's see, and the Glenfear follows quickly behind him, and so he says, well, let's go meet the, get everybody out of there and let's get them back to their houses. We'll set up here in case the humanoids come back. And so everybody starts heading into the castle. Well, it looks like you had set up some camps here to hide from the humanoids. Is that correct? Or did you fight them off and run them out of town?
Oh, no. No, there were far too many.
Far too many? And he looks a little puzzled. Well, as he's kind of talking to you, you're walking up beside him, and the mayor's on the other side, kind of listening, and he brings you up to this guy who has this incredible handlebar mustache. And he raises the visor, and this guy looks like he's maybe 30s or 40s, dark hair, salt and pepper kind of at the temples, and he looks at you and says, so, you're the mayor of Stonegate?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
That man is the mayor.
And he looks towards me and says, I believe your name is, and the mayor goes, yes, Yannick. And he says, right, yes, you're the mayor of Stonegate? And he says, yes, I am. Well then, who is this gentleman with you? Or Yenrik, excuse me, this guy's name. And he says, that's Jethro. He's one of the defenders of Stonegate. And he says, so Jethro, you're a defender of Stonegate. I assume you're the sergeant at arms or the sheriff for the town?
Absolutely not. That person is the sheriff.
Oh, well then I guess I'm a bit puzzled. We haven't seen any humanoids or goblinoids or anything like that. Did you see any in the town?
Yes, from our vantage point above the cliff, every so often we would push the stone a little bit to get a good lookout.
So there's a cave that you hid in.
Yes.
Smart. I heard there were quite a few humanoids on the way. At least that's what the trail looked like, but they're not here.
No, they've left either sometime last night or early this morning, we're not sure.
You must have fought them to a standstill and run them out of town. Good man, good man.
Absolutely not.
So they just left?
Yes, there are far too many. We have mostly just humble villagers here. It would have been a massacre on our side.
And he looks kind of puzzled, and people have started coming out of the tunnel, of the the cave. Who else is in the cave?
That man is a sergeant at arms.
Yeah, you're the deputy, right?
Am I down? Or are we still
Yeah, you're down, and so are you. You come walking up, and he says, well, I'm a bit puzzled why they didn't try to occupy the castle. This is a defensible position, and I guess they didn't know we were coming. So they just left.
Well, they're on the run. There's no food here, and the shining woman's after them.
He says, wait. The shining woman is after them?
It's the whole reason they're topside anyways. Driven from the caves.
Not familiar with a shining woman.
I know the shining man, or the shining woman, and the what's the other person?
She could ride.
She could ride.
Oh, Jew rises and you
You
never heard that stuff?
I-
Sealed in a topaz, buried underground.
Obviously, the orcs believe it.
Huh. He
I'm
says,
keen to believe it with their activities.
well, then we will rest here for the night, and then we will continue our pursuit of this band of humanoids. We've got to make sure we get them before they get to Stonevale, west of here. Obviously, that's where their next stop is. And so he starts.
There's about, from our scout, the Raven fellow, about 300 of them.
We should be able to take them, and you're kind of looking at how well these guys are armed. They've got archers, crossbows. They should be able to probably handle them. They're much better armed than probably most humanoids are. And he says, well, we'll set up camp in the castle, and then we'll be out of your hair in the morning. That sounds good. And so they start moving in, and you notice a couple of the sergeants start yelling, to get things, cook pots set up, and start cooking. And
Well, one thing before you leave, we were also assaulted, maybe 4 nights ago, by this dark-skinned fellow with red eyes, some squid man-looking fella, and a fish man.
Not familiar with them.
They
Most of
said to be the left and right hands of this she who rises.
Don't we still have the body of the drow or something?
you guys have put it outside of the wall, so you can probably show him where it is.
I guess we can go. We
Yeah.
can show him what the body is.
You kind of take him around there, and he looks at it, and he says, and he turns towards the
Well,
mage
find
and
the
says,
back door.
look familiar to you? And you notice that the mage looks like he's probably 18 years old, blonde-headed, barely got bristles on his chin. He's wearing this white robe, and he says, I would say those are probably some denizens from underneath the earth. I'm not sure what. I've heard that there are these things called dark elves that were chased below the surface of the earth long ago by the high elves that live in the nearby forest. I expect that's one of those evil elves.
Boy, makes sense.
Seems pretty evil.
They came from the Dwarven Mines. There's a lot of caves, so
The
that makes
Dwarven
sense.
Mines. Well, we didn't stop off to check on them, but
Oh, the dwarves are all probably dead. Save
Well,
one.
Apparently, that's where the most of the orcs came from. It's from some mines over by where the mountains
So-
where the dwarves are from.
you haven't had a chance to check on the dwarves.
No, we've been fleeing this way.
No, way too many orcs for the 6 of us defenders.
And he turns and looks at Yenrik, and he says, Yenrik, I need you to dispatch
He
a
only sees
group
3
to go
of you.
check on the dwarves immediately.
But only sees 3.
And Yenrik
Yeah, we still
immediately
got him
turns
below.
towards you, and you're like, didn't we do this once already? Turns immediately towards you and says, well, Defender of Stonegate, I will need you to gather your boon companions and set off to find them.
Oh, yeah, I swear on my life it shall be done.
And so then Yenrik kind of looks towards the Duke and he says, Duke, and the Duke goes, Boren, Duke Boren, von Lornenstein. And you're like, wow, okay, mustache.
Born in
Hell of a name.
That's right. You're like, wow, this Germanic can get. He's a big guy, and he says, Lord Duke, I believe we have lost all of our horses, unless there were some left at the inn. And he says, no, all the horses have been taken. Most of them look like they were slaughtered. So he kind of looks at the bear and he says, well, if you have any spare horses that you could lend to the Defender of Stonegate and his friends so that they could check on the dwarves, we would appreciate you letting us borrow them. And the Duke kind of strokes his beard and twists his mustache and he says, well then, I believe I could spare 6 horses for the Defender of Stonegate and his companions. Yes. And so he kind of motions to one of the guys, and one of the sergeants comes over and says, make sure you put 6 horses aside for the Defender of Stonegate and his companions so that they can check on the Dwarven mines. We need to make sure that the flow of iron is unimpeded so that we can defend ourselves against this humanoid threat. And so he says, I will be staying in the big round tower. I expect the rest of you will want to get back to your homes. And says, good.
Such as they are.
Yeah, right.
Not there. Sorry.
He says, good mayor, I assume that you will want to go set things aright with your own dwelling. And so, people everybody's pretty much come out of the cave, and they started lowering the boxes and things down. And then the Duke looks at him and says, though, we could do with some food, possibly with some rations if you have some, maybe some fresh food if you happen to have saved some in your haste to hide out from these humanoids. And the mayor looks at him and says, well, yes, we of course, you didn't bring food with you? He says, well, yes, we did, but we only packed quickly so we could get here as soon as possible. And it's amazing. Everywhere we've stopped has been picked clean of food. The Iron Gate Inn was completely burned to the ground, nothing salvageable there. And of course, the Screaming Wyvern that we passed through was also burned to the ground. Looks like there's very little left of it, and definitely
Hear
nothing
people
before.
going, no!
Yeah, exactly right.
But we can't hear,
Well,
I'm assuming.
is this all that survived? And the mayor says, well, no, we've got people in the tunnels as well. And so the Baron goes, well,
I can't find the trapdoor, but somebody else maybe.
I don't know what to tell you. I've been trying to find that trap door the entire time.
we'll get them out, send them home. We are here to protect them if there's any danger that comes. Yeah, so you're able to eventually
I
in the
guess you
Baron.
guys can shout and we'll be like,
I love to.
Let it all out.
Yeah. These are the ones we can't do without. That's right. So you get them all out of get people kind of coming out of the tunnel, bringing crates and boxes and grandma's quilt out and things like that. And the Baron, as more and more people start coming out, the Baron's like, oh, well, this was a well-thought plan. You got everyone down there and kept them safe. And he says, I am very proud of you, Mayor Yenrik, and of course, Defender of Stonegate. Excellent, excellent plan. Well, we will be leaving early in the morning to chase down these foul humanoids who have beset our land. So we will leave you to it. And so they begin, kind of setting up.
did we give them food?
They've had you give them some of the sausage and cheese that you have. I mean, they want something that's a little better than hardtack and moldy bread. So, they
I wouldn't have thought our food would have gone moldy that quickly.
No. Their food is hardtack and
Oh.
travel bread.
Gotcha.
It's not moldy, but it's pretty much just stuff
It's
you can
like
pack quickly.
stale, so it doesn't go bad.
Right.
You know,
Sandra
I
got
was just
something
thinking,
for
I was
him.
just
You get a
thinking.
biscuit.
You get a biscuit.
No, I was just
Hard
thinking we
biscuit.
could give them good food to take.
That's what they're
with them.
doing.
Okay.
The people, the
So
townspeople are giving
we
them
can
bread
be
and stuff like
Cooking
that.
real quick and stuff.
Right, and they're setting up and actually they're able to find a few of the sheep and use that to make some stews and things like that. So yeah.
I make some cookies for them.
Um,
I have my little
You're gonna need
cookie
to repopulate the sheep around here, there, Holt.
Not sure how he should take that.
cart. Yeah,
Since he's sleeping with the sheep.
Take it as you will.
So you begin heading down into the town, the village. The first thing you notice is the mayor's house has been pretty much ransacked. Yeah.
Before that happens, could we prepare them
Well, I mean,
to know?
what are you gonna do?
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure they were
Already
aware
figured?
when we went down here
Yeah.
that when they came back up, it was probably
Yeah.
good to get.
Yeah, and so the mayor heads off with his friends to, so I guess it'd be Glenfear, to try and set their homes to right with his family, and he's got a manservant as well. A couple of the farmers say that they'll tag along to help the mayor clean things up. You head back to the carpenter and the lumber mill. The kitchen itself and the pantry are completely, turned out and everything's taken from it, but the sawmill itself and the lumber there is still pretty much intact. It looks like they were, again, just after food.
Nice.
As you work your way south, it's the same story everywhere. Food has been taken, sometimes livestock and animals that can be butchered for food, but for the most part, everything else, even though it might have been broken and thrown around, has been left where it is. In fact, it looks like these humanoids didn't even check for money. A lot of people had money that they had hidden in the floorboards or whatever and stuff like that, and they didn't even look underneath for that. They just they've taken food and moved on quickly.
What about the fields?
Fields are fine. They didn't harvest the fields. Mainly what they took was meat, cheeses, stuff that they could carry quickly. They didn't want to hang around to harvest. So yeah, and you can find the footprints that have headed south out of town. There's if you notice, there is a road that kind of heads down to the Caldwell Farm, which is a horse farm, and that seems to be the direction they've gone. So, there you go. And then it looks like they'll head down into the Cairn Hills and further south. It looks like they are leaving the road. So, yeah.
I guess,
that's
whoever
good.
spotted. Did we all just kind of see that just with?
Yeah. Well, you can. I mean, they were not being sold. You can tell that the tracks head south.
So we probably don't need to inform
Right.
Duke, Baron, von
Well, you can let them know. Yeah, Boren von Lornenstein. Yeah. You can definitely tell his men, and he says that he's going to dispatch some scouts to see if they can pick up their trail and make sure how far they've gotten. Maybe south down the road. If nothing else, maybe they can get ahead of them and warn the Caldwell farm. So that's what they're going to do. So yeah, they head off down there. Guys lightly armored, wearing leather armor on fast horses and carrying swords and shields and bows. Yeah. So yeah, about 3 or 4 of them heading down that way. You spend most of the rest of the day, cleaning up homes, cleaning up your homes. The Screaming Wyvern is burned to the ground, so there's nowhere to stay there. Most of the farmers say, hey, we've got an extra bedroom. Of course, the church says you're welcome to stay here in some of the empty acolyte cells as long as you want. And so everybody kind of pitches in and draws together to make sure everybody has somewhere to stay with a roof over their head. Miriam heads back to her hut. She says she's going to head over there and start setting it to right as well. And
Probably go with her and
Yeah.
try to help her out.
well, there's definitely enough room for you to stay there too. And Korik heads back out into the woods, seeming like he's headed off to again hunt for game. He says he'll be back with anything he finds for the villagers to cook and eat, things like that. You spend most of the day doing that. Probably, does anybody want to do anything with the guys that are holed up in the castle or anything particular like that? Want to go talk to the Baron or his mage or anything?
So are they hanging around?
Yeah, well, they're going to spend the night and then they're going to head off to catch up. Yeah.
So was Baron Boren von Lorn?
Yeah, Duke Boren von Lornenstein. is
Okay,
Duke.
okay.
Yeah,
Duke.
Duke.
Was he the one with the impressive Hannibal
Yes,
mustache?
yes.
Ooh, you gonna ask him how you got that?
Hmm.
Try to go your own.
Well, I'm just a little curious because part of me just kind of imagines that because we were told about the mustache before he actually lifted his visor. If he has like little holes in his visor for the mustache to come
He
through.
does. He does. He
There's
does.
actually the handlebar on the outside of the visor is a plated.
That's right. That's right. It's actually the visor looks like his face, but it has a mustache on it. So there you go. That's,
Fair enough.
Gotta protect the mustache.
that's right.
man,
That's
at all
right.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I was curious about. That was
Has little eye holes. Yeah. All right. So, anybody want to do anything in particular this day while you're kind of recovering, repairing? Interestingly enough, the sheriff's tower fared quite well. They locked the doors.
Cool.
It is a tower, and it looked like the humanoids were not able to break into it very easily. It is the jail, so it's pretty secure. However, the house where the sheriff and his wife actually live, yeah, it was pretty much looted. Yeah.
I'm gonna go out and forage for berries and things that can be used for food and cooking.
Some trouble with it.
Yeah. Anyway, just to kind of help out with getting things back to rights.
I'm gonna go to the northwest and see if I can see if any of the sheep, and also maybe check and see if the centaurs that went into the woods.
You
they're
haven't
all
seen
right.
the centaurs yet, but you're thinking they'll probably show up when they decide it's safe. So
So the only thing I really want to do
Mhm.
is, since everywhere was kind of sort of ransacked and whatnot, if there's any places that people are planning on staying that couldn't use a quick patch to fix a hole or something like that might got caused during this.
yeah, the biggest thing that's going to happen is doors are going to need to be fixed where they kicked them in. Windows are going to be fixed where they broke them out and things like that. None of it's any really quick.
Yeah.
And with a carpenter in town, he can probably do it pretty. I mean, it's going to take a morning to probably fix a lot of that stuff, and he's going to be busy doing that. So nothing fast right now.
I understand. I want to help do that. That's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
cool. So you begin doing some of the repair work, finding pieces of lumber that are good to be used for that kind of stuff. Your boss, Darren, him too. Your boss, Darvin, begins, shaving down some of the pieces of lumber to be used and placed to replace parts of the door that got broken. He begins rounding up nails from the general store and some things like that to fix it. Most of the day goes pretty quickly. It's tiring, exhausting work, setting things to right in a lot of the places. There's not a few tears because people have come in and things that were, important to them are broken.
Where's the sheep?
Right. Let's see if I got that right.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, it's on there. So yeah, you head back, and that evening you're pretty tired when you finally settle into the various places. You help Miriam set most of her hut correctly. The roof's going to need some serious work on it, but at least you're able to kind of clear stuff out from underneath it.
Is this the same day that the people showed up?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's only been like maybe 3 or 4 hours that you spent really cleaning stuff up.
Okay.
Yeah. Next day, there's a bit of. Go ahead.
I would like. Well, no, wait today.
Next day, dawn's bright and early. What are you guys going to do?
Well, we've got our
I would like to gather the
Group?
defenders,
Mm-hmm.
go have a conversation with Yenrik
Mm-hmm.
about what's expected potential compensation.
Mm-hmm. A Laurel and hearty handshake.
What could be
Blazing
some
Travels,
traction
anyone?
land?
we'll get some
Yeah.
mustache keeping tips from the
That's
dude.
right.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's all we need.
That's right.
Say less.
In the morning, pretty quickly, you can hear the soldiers breaking camp. They load up the wagons and everything and begin heading down south towards where they can take the road down to the Caldwell farm. The scouts have not returned yet, the ones that they sent down there, but if they had to ride a bit of a way, it wouldn't surprise us. So yes, they head out early in the morning. The Duke stops by Yenrik's house, thanks for his hospitality, and then they're out probably by mid-morning. You guys go see Yenrik?
Yeah, gather everybody up.
All right, head to the mayor's house. The mayor's door, of course, is broken off the hinges. It's a nicer house than most everybody else's, brick, and actually has glass windows and things like that. But a lot of the glass windows are broken as well. As you come walking up to the front door, you notice that Yenrik's daughter Raina meets you at the front door and says, "Oh, are you here to see my father?"
Hi, we'd like to have a chat with him before we head out.
"Oh, well, yes, let me see if I can get him." She goes, "Father!" You hear her disappear into the house. And then a couple minutes goes by, and Yenrik comes out and meets you on the front porch. He says, come in. Let's find something for you to drink. And are you hungry? Do you need something to eat? Let's have a seat. Brings you into what looks like a dining room. I mean, it's not a real big house, but it's got a dining room. The table has some scar marks on the top of it where it looks like, the orcs probably turned it over or maybe hacked at it or something like that. And so it's not in real good shape, but you sit down at it on the various, and there's a couple barrels and a couple chairs that are still there. You notice that he's still cleaning up, and so there's, kind of debris still around this room. His wife brings out some cheese and some bread, and it looks like a bottle of wine, and brings mugs all around. Some of them are chipped and broken. They didn't survive quite as well. And then she heads out. And so Yenrik is sitting there. A couple minutes goes by, and you notice that Glenfear walks in behind him and just stands behind the mayor. And Yenrik says, "Well, so to what do I owe this honor?"
Well, just kind of getting to sorts of what's the expected for this venture to the Dwarven Mines.
Find out if the dwarves are still alive. I mean, we need to see if they are, help any survivors.
Right. When it comes to the business of this She Who Rises, do you want anything about her, or are we just going down to check on the dwarves?
Well, I'll leave that to your discretion. If you feel like it's important to continue on down, please continue. If you can stop her from rising, please do so. But and if it seems like her rising would be a danger to the village of Stonegate, then do everything in your power to prevent it.
Right. Well, do you have provisions for our trek down there?
Absolutely. Take anything you need.
Equipment?
Anything you need. General store, whatever you want, weapons, whatever you want. Yes, whatever you can take. Obviously, you've done so much for our village. We can never thank you enough.
Well, any of you defenders need anything? Questions?
I thought we were just taking the general store. I thought that's what it said.
We'll just load it on your horse and take it down there with us.
Well, you were gonna tune to the stone table, so why not, right?
You need more.
Yeah, I'm just waiting.
Okay.
Will that be, are we leaving today or?
Probably the sooner the better.
Probably so.
I
How
would
long
think.
would it take Art to make more bullets?
He can't. Remember, he doesn't have any black powder. But
There you go.
you are an alchemist. You can make black powder.
I think we might be able to find some black powder in the dwarven mines.
Dwarves would probably have black powder. Because
Also, would you like to experiment with this? And I take one of my vials of poison and hand it to you.
you're an alchemist. It's a
Thank you.
potion.
Very cool.
Yes.
Coat it in your ammo, and it would probably, if I were a scientific man, say it'd last for a minute.
So
Sounds
you got a
good.
vial of
Ammo you
poison as
put it
well.
on?
Yeah.
I'll stick it in my little
Can you make
my little
the
boxes away from all the food
bullets
stuff.
if you make the black powder?
Mhm, probably you could.
Also, I think
I
he gave her
can
some
make
balls.
Right, he gave her,
one,
yeah,
so I
because
should
the
be
way
able
the
to
thing
make
loads,
bullets.
it doesn't have bullets, it's just cap and ball. You
It's just
put the black
balls.
powder in there,
Yeah.
load the ball
Black
in,
powder, yeah.
wadding. Yeah, there's
Oh,
no
that's
bullets.
super easy then. Yeah.
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 You find some bits of metal, shave it down, and
Yeah, so
and
it's,
the ball bearings. Yeah, just
but it also means when it's
Pretty
time to
much.
reload it, it's going to take a
a
while.
little bit.
Which is
Yeah.
why in
You
the
wouldn't do
battle,
that in
she
combat.
was-
You'd fire 6 times
She was
and then reload it later.
reloading.
Yeah.
I'd shoot and she'd
Yeah.
reload.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, so
Because
you're
then I could hard biscuit.
head down to the general store. Anybody in particular want to find anything?
Let me look at the store.
Yeah,
Do they have scale mail?
absolutely. Well, the blacksmith would. Yeah, and he'd be happy to give it to you.
I'd like a spyglass. The most expensive thing in the store.
I don't know that they would have one of those. They are pretty. They're pretty expensive and they're
Yeah.
hard to find because they're so
battleship.
yes. Unfortunately, it's 60 miles south of here, where the next largest body of water is. So, yes, you may have it.
I would like to just, I don't know if this will be at the general store, I might have to go to Art for this, but I would like to just get some knickknacks, some ball bearings, some caltrops, some.
You could probably find that in the general store, I would think. Yes, and you're able to get. You probably get some thick leather gloves, and then probably a bag of caltrops. Yeah, absolutely. I would think that would
Just
not be
some,
hard to
just
find.
some bits and bobs.
Oh, yeah, it's like a bag of holding.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there aren't any magic items for
Um,
sale.
Actually,
Nice.
speaking of which, is there like a tool belt or any sort of utility thing where I could store stuff just like around my waist?
Absolutely, yeah. You can find a belt and put lots of pouches on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pouch
Sure,
belt.
sure.
Do they have stuff like
Like a
flour
belt of
and sugar
pockets.
and
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah.
What, Joe?
do they have stuff like flour and sugar things that, and food stuffs that I can
Yeah.
take so I can make
Most of that
stews
would have
and
been
stuff for us
probably-
on the road.
Would have been probably taken to the tunnels. Yeah, so yeah, there's flour and sugar stuff you can grab to take with you to cook on the
I'm gonna
road.
get some meats and stuff too.
Cool.
Just to,
Yeah, well, everybody's gonna need probably meats to travel with and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, anything from the general store, general kind of thing that's not really odd.
Grappling hook and an extra rapier.
Sure. Again, the rapier is going to come from the blacksmith, but
A
absolutely. Yeah.
shield.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How about a length of chain? You think the blacksmith would have a length of chain?
Yes, I know he did because I think we were talking about him forging something like that. Yeah.
Take some chain.
All right, Arlen, you are working with Miriam. They kind of come to get you, and as you're getting ready to head to the general store, Miriam comes up to you and says, "Wait, I want to give you something to help you in your journey." And so she reaches at her belt and she pulls out this little wand, and it's kind of a nice straight piece of what looks like ebony, and it's got like what looks like a little bone handle, and she hands it to you and she says, "This is my wand. It's served me well for the last 30 years. I want you to take it since you are defending the realm from She Who Rises. Obviously, I won't be going with you. You'll need this more than I will."
I don't want to leave you defenseless if.
I have other focuses, but this is powerful enough that you will need it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And I'll give her a hug. And
And she tells you to be careful, that defenders of Stonegate are hard to find. Come back in one piece.
that is the plan.
And besides, you've got to finish your training with her.
Right.
Right. Hey, thanks for tuning in for the Saga of Stonegate. If you enjoyed our intro music, it's by a group called Overburden, and the song is Round 2, which seemed kind of appropriate since it's our second podcast involving RPGs. If you enjoyed our podcast and would like to support us, head on over to Patreon and look for Mike the GM. We have several different tiers of support, and one of them actually gives you access to our battle maps, and the highest level tier gives you the battle maps and my Game Master notes. So check us out.